Hello, welcome to our Wednesday devotion time. I thank you for taking time to spend with me, and I hope to be a blessing or a challenge to you today. Our school year ends on Friday. This is a very busy and exciting time of the year. Our kindergarten graduation is Thursday night, and our award ceremony for the students is on Friday morning. It's just a wonderful time of year, and everybody's excited. The problem is, with all that excitement, sometimes it's difficult to behave. But I've always said in a classroom, it's not really hard to behave if you'll obey a couple of rules. First of all, don't speak without permission. And secondly, don't get out of your seat without permission. Those two rules and almost everything else takes care of itself. I realize it's a little more complicated than that, especially at the end of the year, but that's the short version. We're reading in 2 Kings chapter 17, and an interesting story takes place as the Israelites have been taken over by the king of Assyria. And as they're taken over, God says, now this doesn't have to be this way, pardon me. What can happen is you can become your own nation. You can become free if you'll obey a few things. Obeying God's will. Sometimes it's obeying God's will is as simple as obeying the teacher's will in a classroom. So here's what happened. There were instructions by God in 2 Kings chapter 17, beginning in verse 36. But the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and stretched out arms, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. And the statutes and ordinances and law and commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore. And you shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Now that doesn't sound very hard. Obey the Lord, do the things he's told you to, and he'll deliver you. He'll set you free and deliver you from your future enemies. But listen to this sad verse in 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 40. Howbeit, they did not hearken. They didn't hearken unto the Lord. They didn't do what they'd been told to do. Now, if you're in a classroom and don't obey the teacher, what do you expect? You expect some discipline. If you're driving out on the highway and you don't obey the rules, what do you expect? You expect some problems, perhaps even to be ticketed. So this is easy. And my wife and I were reading in Blackaby's devotional book the other night, and he said this: God's will is not hard to know. It's written down in a book. Now, in our school, we have a handbook, but for Christians, we have a book, God's love letter, that has written down all of his instructions for us. It's not hard. Now, sometimes knowing his specific will in a specific case is not quite so easy. It takes prayer and time alone with God. But generally speaking, knowing his will is not hard. So these thoughts, I think, will help us today. First, we can and should know God's will. Like in the classroom, listen to what he says. Obey what he says. The song says, trust and obey. That's all there is to it. Trust and obey. We can and should know God's will. Then, when we do his general will, the things we know we're supposed to do, he will begin to reveal to us his specific will regarding details. If I'm in a classroom and have little kids, our teachers in our school, elementary kids, they'll say something like this. They'll say, okay, get in a line. They'll line up. Now walk down to the end of the hallway and stop. And I'll come down and tell you what to do when you get to the end of the hallway. Now, if they walk down to the end of the hallway and stop, the teacher comes up and says, turn this way, go here, go there. If they just keep on walking, they're in trouble because they don't know what to do. So it is, I believe, with God's will. He says, do this, and then I'll reveal my perfect will. Let's be sure to trust and obey. Trust and obey. For these Israelites in 2 Kings chapter 17, their problem was this: howbeit they did not hearken unto their God. Let's hearken, let's listen, let's trust and obey. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.